I'm Cay Ogden. I am a wildlife biologist. I recently retired from the National Park Service and volunteered back here to help with the BioBlitz at Rocky Mountain National Park. My role in the BioBlitz was to organize teams of biologists that specialize in bat species, and I organized them into two different teams, and they went out into the park last night and did mist netting to help us understand of the 7 species of bats that we knew occurred here in Rocky Mountain Park. How many of those species could we confirm are still here, and then possibly find some additional species. There were a couple of scientists who thought that there were 2 other species that we might be able to find during the BioBlitz. We didn't find those other species. We did find 4 species that had previously been documented. At one of the locations we netted 11 different bats. That was 2 different species, a big brown bat and a long-legged bat. And then at the other location we confirmed again a very common species, the little brown bat, and a hoary bat. So all of those we had known had occurred in the park before, so we confirmed that information with the BioBlitz. Did not find any new species this time, but certainly hope that this is a kickstart for us to do additional surveys and possibly find more species here in the park as we do more and more surveys. One of the things that's really prompting us to do surveys is the threat of white nose syndrome. In North America, we're very concerned about a fungus disease that is occurring in bat populations, particularly bats that occupy caves and mines. We're very concerned that this fungus species that is killing the bats could spread further west and kill the bats here. In the eastern United States has been devastating, the number of bats that have been killed. Millions and millions of bats have died, and scientists are working frantically to figure out how can we possibly prevent the spread of this fungus, and what might we be able to do as land managers to protect the bat populations that we still have.
The specimens you caught last night in the mist nest are all healthy?
Yes.
From what you could tell?
Yeah, they were all healthy as far as we know. White nose syndrome doesn't occur in Colorado yet. The State Division of Wildlife is doing surveys during the wintertime in particular. That's the best time to try to detect this fungus. So they are doing surveys, and so far we found that we haven't found it here in Colorado.
So here in the BioBlitz, it's important to understand how interconnected all the species are.
Mm-hmm.
Why are the bats important in the park?
Yeah, at the booth, the information desk that we're giving here, we're explaining to people that there are some species of bats that can eat 1,000 mosquitoes in an hour, and so they are a tremendous impact in the ecosystem as far as regulating insect populations. We think people ought to really think about that, and how could people encourage bats in their own neighborhoods and in their area, because bats are a very valuable insect moderator anyway of the insect populations.
So this is something we can all do, is help the connectivity to nature by helping the bats also find homes in our suburbs and cities.
Yeah, there are a lot of species of bats that occur even in the cities, and the famous location is down in Austin, Texas, where there are millions of bats that live in the bridges under the bridges in Austin, Texas, and here you have a city that has a huge bat population, and certainly people, by being tolerant of the species and understanding that these animals are nothing to be afraid of, they do occasionally carry a disease, and so you have to be careful if you ever encounter one up close. But we certainly would want people to encourage bat populations wherever you can. People can put up even boxes, the roost boxes in their backyard, and possibly provide some habitat in their own home area for bats.
And is there anything people can do to help stop the spread of the white nose fungus?
The one thing that we know so little about this disease just recently arrived from Europe, we believe. We believe it was transported to North America by people. Because it's a fungus, the spore, the the seed part of the fungus is very, very small, and so it's impossible for people to know that they may have spores on their boots. So what we're trying to do now is work with people, particularly cavers, people that like to explore caves, and people that like to go into those dark nooks and crannies where the bats hang out. We're trying to work with those individuals and have them help us in cleaning their equipment as they move from one cave to the next, to be sure that if they happen to be in a cave that has the fungus infection, that they don't transport that fungus spore to another location. The cavers have been a tremendous asset to us in their willingness. They love the caves and as much as the bat people love the bats. So they've played a tremendous role with us in trying to, that's about the only thing that we know we can do at this point, is clean your equipment and be sure that you're doing what you can to prevent the spread of those spores.
Well, thank you for letting us hear you talk about the bats.
Great, thanks.